Yo, Still Mills, what's the deal, man? I gotta hurry up and make this video before my daughter come out fucking with me again. But excuse the white shit in my hair. I'm fresh out the shower. Nigga ain't gotta go to work today. I normally don't do the pretty boy shit with the because I ain't no pretty ass nigga with the curl, curling the hair up, but lost my braids. I had braids, had long ass braids or whatever, man, up until like 2017 or whatever. Them hoes fell out. 2017, 2018, and caught alopecia. So nigga just had the little fro. Stop! I just had the little fro. And from then until mid last year, I just kept rocking the fro. I just picked that shit out. Mid last year, I started actually throwing shit in there. I cut, I got a shape up and started throwing shit in there. And this is where I'm at with it now, man. So I kind of digs it. So that's just what it is. So that's why all this white shit is in my hair. Pause. Well, peep game, man. Yesterday I was on the forums. And it was a thread that said pretty much keys to victory for Earl Spence versus Jordanus Ugas. And I gave my analysis on it. And on that thread, you can respond to directly to a comment on there, and that conversation right there is going to take its own ventures as to where the topic goes. So he says something along the lines of nobody from 47 to 60 is beating Earl Spence. So on that topic alone, that took a detour into some other shit. And he asked me who I think will win between Ugas and Spence. And I gave my analysis on it. I'm still kind of somewhat torn, but I'm really leaning towards Spence. Not Spence, but Ugas. I'm still kind of torn on it though. But I screenshotted my analysis because he didn't see my analysis. I screenshotted it and put it right up under the thread that we was having a conversation on. And that screenshot got forwarded and screenshotted again and was put in it was made a stat. It was made an actual stat on that what's it called, Loyal to the Game boxing or whatever. It was made on there was a stat in itself. And I had wild people hopping on there. Oh man, this is a terrible analysis and yada yada yada. It's this, it's that, and the third. This was stupid. Countless memes and all that shit. And I'm like, what exactly, like, contradict what I'm saying? You dig what I'm saying? Like, counterattack what I'm saying and tell me what I'm saying was wrong. Because pretty much what I feel like Ugas has the more educated feet. He's the better clinch fighter. He's the better counterpuncher. He has the higher IQ. Like, better defense. I mean, like, Spence's biggest Spence only had one attribute that's, I don't even want to say night and day better than Ugas, because I just do not. I absolutely don't believe that. But his jab and his body assault. I don't think he does anything else better than Ugas, man. His jab, and even his jab, you can argue, I don't know, because Ugas has a stiff jab himself. But I don't think he's able to really. Spence, in the fights that he dominates his opponents in, he's able to completely control them off of the jab. He's able to completely control them off the jab. I don't think Ugas, he has a good jab, but he doesn't control them off the jab to the point where it's like when they get stung with the jab, they're stagnant because they're trying to look for They're trying to look for openings that may not be presenting itself in a timely manner. And because it's not presenting itself in a timely manner, it's opening you up to other, to get caught with the jab again and shots off of the jab. And then eventually body shots. Ugas, I don't think has it like that, man, because I think he has he has a more array of skill to where he doesn't just have to operate off, solely off of the jab. Ugas, pretty much, all right, people. You can't do. The only thing you can do is take into consideration. Triangle theories don't work. We get that. They don't work, but there is most definitely truth within them that that can't be denied. And all you can do, you can give an analysis off of how each fighter performed against their common opponent. Now, granted, Ugas lost the fight, Spence won the fight and scored a knockdown. We have to really unpack that because there are just as many people. There's more people. There may be the same amount of people who feel Porter beat Spence. Then there may be the same amount of people who think that Porter beat Spence. Then and think that Ugas beat Porter. You dig? So we have to look at and not to mention, had it not been for that knockdown, that in one of the judges' eyes, the knockdown wasn't even enough to secure a win in one of the judges' eyes. So you look at Spence versus Porter, and what's wild is the fight happened back to back. So Porter fought Ugas and then Spence. So we'll look at since Porter fought Ugas first, we can look at that first and break that down and analyze that, man. When Porter fought Ugas first, Ugas he was strong. He's strong. He's a lot stronger and sturdier than he looks, man. So Sean Porter, when he bull rushes you in, he's usually knocking you off balance and forcing you to the rope. No, he planted his feet. He countered to the body, beautifully clean body shots, 2 and 3 punch combinations to the body. And he pushed Sean Porter back, forcing him to reset. He did that a lot. And if he was ever in a situation where his back was on the rope, he got knocked off balance, he was able to spin back to the middle of the ring, get a shot, get a couple shots off and spin back off the rope and get back to the middle of the ring. So that, that speaks to his IQ as well. He didn't accommodate him by sitting in there and just getting into a unnecessary exchange. I don't need to do that. I have others. No, I'm not. This is your bread and butter right here, being the workhorse that you are. This is your bread and butter. I'm not gonna give you that bread and butter. You're gonna have to earn that. So I'm gonna get my shit off and get back to where I need to be to force you to reset and think of another way to get in, to gain access. That's what Ugas did in that fight against Showtime. And this nigga talking about what up. Nigga, it's Thursday, not Friday. The fuck? Told you Friday. But Ugas, that's how Ugas was able to beat Sean, or not beat Sean Porter, but give Sean Porter the rough and tumbling type of fight that he did. It did. He displayed good instincts in the clinch, good defense in the clinch, good counterpunching in the clinch, good footwork, and high IQ. Spence, on the other hand, and he was also able to control, force Sean Porter, outside of his fighting identity, which was being an outboxer. He forced Sean Porter to do that, and his jab was on point in that fight as well. That forced Sean Porter to the outside. It did. That forced him to the outside. Cause it's like, yo, man, I gotta go through hell and high water to get to the position that I want to be in, that I'm most effective in. So while I'm figuring this strategy out, let me fight off of the back foot. That's not Sean Porter's game. That's not his game at all. So that's, he looked a lot more posed or composed and poised against Sean Porter than Earl Spence did. When Earl Spence fought Sean Porter, just, it's like, now, Ugas doesn't have the fastest feet. But you don't have to have the fastest feet. You can have educated feet. You can know when to spin out. You can know when to take that step back. You can know when to take that step in. It's about knowing when, as opposed, he's lunging. Let me take this half a step back. Not just completely outspeeding somebody and keeping them out or keeping them off balance. That's not Ugas' game. But like I said, he knew when to take that step in, and he knew when to take that step out, and he knew when to step around. Spence, on the other hand, in that fight with Porter, when Spence fought Porter, Spence, we never saw the adjustments from Earl Spence. One thing, like, when Spence fought Sean Porter, man, Sean Porter would, he would come in low, because I think Earl Spence's best weapon is his jab. He would come in low and completely neutralize his jab. The fuck is calling me? I'll call you back, love. He'd come in low and completely neutralize his jab. And he'd get in his chest and he'd just go to work. He'd get in his chest and go to work. And not Sean Porter, but Earl Spence isn't like, he's not the most defensively sound fighter, so he's not in like poison. We're not gonna have no fighter on the scale of like a Shakur Stevenson in a clinch, who's catching shots and slipping and dipping and doing all that, and in point blank range. He's not that. He's fighting in the clinch, but it's not. He's countering technically, but it's not calculated countering. It's not him catching and shooting, and every time he catches a shot, he accurately places a shot on his chin or places a shot on the belly or nothing like that. Nah, it wasn't nothing like that. He was just he was fighting him. He was out fighting him. Or he outfought him to gain that victory. But Sean Porter was in a position like he was spinning and dipping this dude like a fucking ballerina. If Sean Porter would find himself on his back on the ropes, he would spin Spence and put his back on the rope. It was a point, I think early in the fight, it was a point where Spence somehow got out of, he spun out, and when he spun out, he was expecting to get a break. And here comes Sean Porter again, back on the attack. You dig? He did that. It was mental pressure. So he spun out in that one instance, but it's not consistent. Like, these are top level boxers, man. So the things that they, even what it is that they lack in their arsenal, they're gonna be able to do to a certain degree. Because they're high level boxers. So Earl Spence, in moments is gonna be able to look like what he did with Lamont Peterson with the feet. He's not graceful on his feet like that. But because Lamont Peterson offered him no resistance, he looked like he looked like Lomachenko in there. And even with Sean Porter, when he scored that knockdown, he took that slight step to the, cut that slight angle and clipped him. It was far in between, but he has the mechanics to a degree to do that in certain instances. It's not consistent. It's not a strong suit of his. He can do it because he's a high level boxer, but he can't do it at that level on a consistent basis under that type of pressure. So he did it, but it wasn't like he continuously did it. And it wasn't like he continuously did it again after he scored the knockdown. So it was just one of them, spur moment type things. And it worked, to his credit. But Sean Porter had that man looking like a deer in the headlights for the entire fight. Because it was a real uncomfortable pace he was fighting at. It was highly uncomfortable for him. And you saw it. You saw it in his mannerisms. And you just saw, like, he looks human right now. He's not looking like the beast that everybody is proclaiming him to be. He's eating a lot of shots. He can't stop Sean Porter from getting in. He can't neutralize his angles and his footwork. He looks human. He looks really human. You saw that when they fought. Like Ugas was a lot more poised when he fought him. When he fought Sean Porter than Spence was. You seen the worry on Spence's face. You seen it like, whoa, what the fuck was this? I wasn't expecting this. And somebody said that he has the higher IQ than Ugas. Ugas did not sit in the clinch like that and let him just he didn't allow Sean Porter. Yo, man, these goddamn cats. He didn't allow Sean Porter. He didn't accommodate Sean Porter by allowing him to, all right, cool, I'm gonna just go and get in this unnecessary exchange with you, like Spence did. And they're claiming, oh, Spence wanted to fight him like that. No, he didn't have a choice but to fight him like that. And if he did want to fight him like that, that goes again. You can't talk about IQ with me, because that wasn't a smart thing to do. It damn near cost him the fight. Had it not been for that knockdown, he possibly loses that fight. I got to go back and look at all the judges' score. I know one of those, even with the knockdown, they had him win. One judge had him losing the fight. So I got to go. I can't remember the other two judges' scorecards, like the exact score, but you have to take that into consideration, man. If not for that knockdown, he may have lost that fight to Sean Porter. So when you compare those two, like I mean, people are so high up on Spence that let me say this before I go, before I end it off. People are so high up on Spence that they'll disregard all of the holes and the fallacies in his game because he's beating the opponents. Like when you look at Kell Brook, he beat Kell Brook. Yes, he stopped Kell Brook, but Kell Brook did jump up a division and then jump back down a division. He jumped up 2 divisions to fight Golovkin and then jumped right back down 2 divisions to fight Errol Spence. That's not the smartest thing to do when you're fighting. When he was in front of Errol Spence is proven to be not the boogeyman, but clearly one of the top dogs in the division. That just wasn't a smart thing to do. That's not no tune up. You don't do you want to make sure you are more than ready. Your body is more than ready to deal with whatever he has to dish. But even in that fight, you could argue that Kell Brook was winning that fight even after the knockdowns. You can argue that. Kell Brook was countering that man beautifully. He was punishing him every time he threw a lazy jab. He was punishing him every time he threw a jab. He would jab right over. He would throw the lead left hook off of that man's right jab. He was doing that the entire fight. But because he stopped Kell Brook, all of that shit is irrelevant. And it's like you have to take that into consideration. You have no other choice. I mean, Kell Brook did, he fucked himself when he did that shit, when he decided to jump up and go fight Golovkin. He fucked himself when he did that. He played himself. That's his dumb ass fault. That fight could have went a different way had he never done that. But, shoulda, coulda, woulda. But in that fight, Kell Brook was showing the ability to make adjustments on the fly. Errol Spence never did. He's yet to show the ability to adjust. He just simply outfought Kell Brook. He outfought him. He outslugged him. He outfought him. And got the stoppage. That doesn't equate to IQ and the ability to make adjustments and skill. We're not saying that he's not a skilled fighter, because he clearly is, but the skill to the level that they have him at, no. He hasn't shown that. But because he stopped them, they're gonna completely disregard all the things that Kell Brook was able to do to him. They're gonna completely disregard that. Completely. They're going to completely disregard all of the shit that Sean Porter all the vulnerability Sean Porter shown in him because he beat Sean Porter. They're going to disregard all of that. And it's like, no, even me, we're Bud fanatics up here in the city. I could tell you that I could tell you Yeah, Bud gets hit a little too much because he's willing to. He loves the fight. I could tell, and that could lead to his downfall against other opposition. It could. And I don't have an issue with telling you that. But with Spence, you can't even. It's no sense of objectivity, man. It's all fanboyism. It's all fanboyism. You can't even begin to be objective about it. And it's like, dude, you know. So for somebody to sit here and tell me he has this, this immaculate level of IQ, I just depending, judging on the fight that we saw with their common opponents, I have to say how. How do you come to this conclusion? You're not going to get the same type of resistance fighting Danny Garcia than you would fighting Sean Porter. Because Danny Garcia, he's inactive with, as far as he waits too long to let his hands go. And he's not the fastest on his feet. So he's not in a position to offer you the same amount of resistance that Sean Porter would. So how do you get that? And that's why he was able to look as dominant as he did with Danny Garcia than he did anybody else. When he fought Mikey Garcia, Mikey Garcia moved up 2 divisions to fight him. And that was his first fight as a fucking welterweight. And I had one of these fools on my Facebook page talking about he has Canelo-like power. You think Canelo would allow Mikey Garcia to go a full 12 rounds with him, let alone one? Let alone one. Mikey Garcia isn't no fleet-footed fighter neither. He's there to be hit. And he ate 1 million punches allegedly, because I watched the highlights. I didn't watch the whole fight, but he laid 1 million punches against Earl Spence. And Earl Spence didn't even drop him. Do you think Mikey Garcia goes more than 2? I'll give him 2 rounds tops against Canelo Alvarez. This is just the mental, just it's like you dudes just have no shame, man. No shame. And there's no sense of logic when it's time to talk about Earl Spence. Y'all can't be objective about it. It's just all fanboyism. He does not have Canelo-like power. And there's vulnerabilities in this game that are there to be exploited. So that was my analysis on it, man. And I feel people are just really, they're really delusional when it comes to Earl Spence. They're extremely delusional. You can be a fan of somebody and be objective. There's nothing wrong with that. And with these cats, they just choose to be, they just completely ignore all logic and common sense when it pertains to Earl Spence. Because they don't want to come off as a detractor. And they end up looking stupid. I was fucking them niggas up on that forum. They could not fuck with me. They had no response to what it is that I was saying. Outside of, he hasn't lost 4. We could start with, he hasn't lost 4 fights. All right, cool. This boxing, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. 99% of boxers lose. And that's okay. That's okay. But if I'm asking you, give me an analysis as to who is better between the two of them, don't come, he ain't lost yet. That's not an answer. That's not an answer at all. Give me a proper analysis. Don't say, he hasn't lost yet, and then tell me styles make fights. I'm tired of people throwing that around, man. Like, that's just niggas throw that shit around and they don't even have a full understanding as to what it means. Styles make fights. Yes, they honestly do. They do. But what makes you think Ugas has the style that is going to be exploited and exposed by Earl Spence? He can fight better from all 3 distances. I'm tired of people I'm sorry seeing people use that Styles make fight shit. Like, you don't even know what the fuck it is that you're looking at. This is just a way for you to get out of the conversation of what I'm saying. What style does Earl Spence have that is going to destroy the likes of Ugas? So that's how I'm feeling about it, though, man. At this point, I'm rambling. I got to go in here and clean my kitchen up and get my chill on. But yeah, man. That's how I'm feeling about it, man. I'm still torn on who I think will win. I'll do more more film study in the near future. But I'm kind of, at the moment I'm leaning more towards Ugas, because I just think he has the wider array of skills. But we'll know as the fight, the closer we get to April. So that's how I'm feeling about it, though, man. Y'all like and subscribe and let me know what y'all think. Let me know if I'm bugging or if I'm on to something, man. Peace.